Thank you for tuning in to another Terrific Tips for Business podcast. I'm Terry, your host. And why is it Terrific Tips? Because you can't spell terrific without Terry. And today we have the amazing Melanie Diehl with us. For those of you that don't know Melanie, I've just recently met her through one of our Facebook groups. So for those of you who are like Facebook adverse, Facebook groups, you meet some amazing people there. I promise it's worth it. Let me introduce Melanie to you so that you can know why I'm so excited that she's on the show. First of all, I love talking with other professionals in general, but Melanie is a professional speaker and she's an award-winning digital marketer. Right up my alley, right? So those of you who know me know that I'm in marketing too. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Melanie is passionate about helping business owners achieve massive results online. Melanie has appeared on NBC News, Influence, and Funnel Magazine, and she's worked with the state of North Carolina, the Grow with Google program, NCSU, and hundreds of other small businesses in our community. She's especially proud of an email campaign that resulted in an 800% increase. Whoa, let me say that again. 800% increase in sales for a long-term client of hers and thousands of attendees that she has had the privilege and honor of meeting at her speaking events. Melanie and John, her husband of 33 years, have 3 grown daughters and a silly Yorkie and Benny, the rescue cat. Super cute. When she's not working, she enjoys camping in their RV, playing canasta, hunting for sea glass, and trying new recipes. No wonder we're friends. We're like the same person. I love it. Thank you, Melanie, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me here, Terry. I'm really excited to talk about all of the nerdy marketing stuff that we love so much.
Exactly. Oh, I'm excited to hear about it too. So you have had an email campaign that's produced 800% increase in sales for your client. What was that like?
Well, here's the story. So I've been working with her for a while, and we've been using email marketing for a while, in addition to other social media and her website and Google My Business and all of the places that a business owner would be visible online. And it was the end of the year, and she wanted to make a really big impact on her bottom line. So because we'd been using email marketing for a while, we kind of knew her audience and we knew who liked what. So we sent out a targeted email campaign. And it was highly targeted, right? Which is something that you can really do very easily with email marketing, as you know. So we were able to achieve in 10 days, 800% increase in sales. And the only thing we did, Terry, was one single email campaign. We didn't promote this special or this opportunity anywhere else online. It wasn't on Facebook, Instagram, Google, nowhere. It was just in that email campaign in 10 days. It was amazing. It was amazing.
So that's what goes to show you, like, if you do a highly targeted campaign. So for our listening audience, what does a highly targeted campaign mean?
Okay, so when it comes to email marketing or any kind of digital marketing, paid ads, anything like that, it's finding your audience and narrowing it down. So you say, okay, we know that this particular audience is interested in this particular X, Y, or Z product, service, whatever it is that you might sell, and sending it directly to them. So it's highly targeted to the people. So if you think about when you are online and you might go to Wayfair, and I'm going to bet that everybody, because this happened to everybody, if you've been to Wayfair and then you look at a chair or a rug, then you go somewhere else online, that chair or that rug follows you around everywhere on the internet because you looked at it one time online. That's a targeted ad. We can do the same thing with email marketing. So we knew what Diane's audience liked. We knew the ones who liked product. We sent them information about product. We knew the ones who liked gift cards. So by really it was sort of just telling everybody, we narrowed it down and said, hey, we know you like this stuff. Here it is. And here's your opportunity to get it. So that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. And it is so super duper effective. And I have conversations with small business owners all the time. This concept of targeting their market is really scary for them. So what we've learned just now is when we target our market, we can produce greater return on investment for our business.
Absolutely.
Totally worth
Absolutely.
targeting the market. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you get to know your audience and you get to know your market, it's so much easier because, to be honest, I don't want to be marketed stuff that I'm not interested in. Our audience is the same way. If you're going to serve me ads on Facebook, I want to see ads that are relevant to me. I'm not interested in professional sports. Please don't show me stuff about baseball and football. It's just not my interest. Show me something I'm interested in. Email me something I'm interested in. I'm more likely to take some sort of action from that.
If anybody has tips on where you can find really good sea glass, send it to Melanie. She wants to know.
Yes. Yes.
It's so awesome. So how did you get into marketing?
How did I get into marketing? It was kind of, well, I've been in business for 31 years. So let's start with that. So I've always been marketing because I've been in business for myself for 31 years. But that wasn't my primary service 31 years ago. I had another business, but of course, anyone who's in business is marketing. About 11 years ago, I was working with our local Chamber of Commerce, and I was working with the members and benefits and that sort of thing, right? And I started watching people using Facebook to market their business. And it was so different from any marketing that I had used in my past experience. In the 20 years leading up to that, I'd never thought of using social media for marketing my business. So I was fascinated with it. So I did everything I could to find out about it. And I was super interested in it. I learned it. I taught myself, right? Like a lot of us just kind of fell into it, right?
Yeah.
And then the chamber members kept coming to me and saying, Melanie, can you get me on Facebook? Sure, come on, let's get you on Facebook, right? So we get, and then eventually it was overwhelming, and I had like 30 businesses who wanted to figure out how to get their business on Facebook. I gathered them at town hall. I pulled up the big overheads, and I got everybody on their Facebook page, showed them what to do. And one thing led to another. And so I just kind of fell into it. I actually worked like that as a volunteer model for a number of years. And in 2012, I launched Melanie and Co. In its initial phase. So I was officially doing this and actually making money off of it, not just doing it for free anymore. So I've been in the business for about 11 years, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah. For me, it's fascinating because there isn't a single business that's like any other business. And what techniques and tactics you have to use to help one business grow is totally different than another. It's not a cookie cutter situation. And the reason is because everybody's why and everybody's goals are different. And so I feel like I get to learn about a variety of different industries and play in different areas, all while still doing what I know. So that's what I love about marketing myself.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And I have met the most fascinating business owners over the past several years. I mean, people who are started businesses for concepts that I never would have even imagined. The most fascinating people and amazing ideas and business concepts. It's really exciting for me to watch people really make something come to life. A passion of theirs, and that gives me my part of my why, watching them be successful. What about you? I mean, what's the most interesting business model that you've seen in your years of marketing of business owners you've worked with?
Ooh, that's a good question. For stop. Sorry, I've got a dog. She's laying next to me. For me, the reason that I love doing what I do is because if I can help a small business owner grow, I can help a whole community grow. So I have this like deep seated passion that when I was 7 years old, I was gifted this vision that I was put here to help people. That's my purpose. My whole life purpose is to help people. And I knew from a very early age that blood makes me squeamish, so I couldn't be a doctor. And I really don't enjoy paperwork, so I can't be an attorney. But I love being able to learn about the medicine. I love being able to learn about the law. I love being able to help those people help our community because they're necessary. And not just those people, everybody, like all of the small businesses. There's so many different types of small businesses out there. I do a lot of work in the independent medical space. I'm a proponent of the alternative healing medicines myself. I subscribe to that for my own healing. And so I tend to support those small businesses the most. And I think
Uh-huh.
any any business who really puts their heart first and their heart centered, those are the ones that I really enjoy working with the most. Their models tend to be a little bit different, because it's not about a production line for them. It's not about how many people can we get into the office in a period of time. And it's not necessarily, they're not focused on the revenue. They're focused on how can they help the most people. And those are the businesses that resonate with me, because that's my mission. Is how can I help the most people possible? What about you? What's been the most interesting business model that you have found that you enjoy working with?
Well, I really like working in the service industry. Product based industry is fine. It's not my passion, but I can do it. But I've just figured out that even though you can do multiple things, you usually have a tendency to go toward one type versus another, right? So I really love the service-based industries, anything that's a service industry. You and I are service-based industries, right? Because we don't sell a product necessarily.
Right.
And I also have a strong tie toward the faith industry, or the faith community, if you will. I guess it's not an industry.
I guess technically it's not, because they're nonprofits, right? But they are kind of. I mean, faith, I think that the faith industry actually does kind of fall into like the personal development industry, and that is an industry.
You're right. You're right. So I guess maybe I didn't misspeak on that one, but
Good.
I have a very strong passion for the faith-based community and service-based industries. But I will tell you that I was teaching a class a couple of years ago, and this gentleman came to a few of my sessions, and he makes one product, and I can't even remember the name of it. And I think he was selling it on Etsy or maybe Amazon. I can't remember where he was selling it. It's been a couple of years, but I remember the product itself. And I don't even remember the name of it, but it's like the anti-door slammer, if you will. So think about young kids, like teenagers, right? When they get angry, they slam their bedroom door, they slam the front door, they slam the cupboard door, or whatever, right?
You
This
hear
this
dad yell from the kitchen, close the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, when I was a kid and I slammed my door, I would go downstairs. My mom would calm me down, and I would go to see what she needed, and she said, "Go back and close your door the right way." Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now they don't have to do it anymore if you have the anti-door slammer, because it prevents doors from being slammed shut. And I thought, this was something that somebody needed. He created a product, and now he's selling it. How cool is that? You
That's so
know?
cool.
I mean, that's just one of the unique things that the people that I've met with, they created something out of a need and out of a passion, and he's serving a need for other people as well. So it's just been really cool to meet people and see what kind of interesting, creative, unique ideas that they have come up with. I have another girl that I work with on a regular basis, and she has she is the second or third generation, I think she's second generation, roller skate rink owner. Now, there's not a whole lot of roller skating
They're
rinks
really,
around anymore.
they really are.
Um, and so I got to meet Denise a couple of years ago, and she's fascinating. And I think it's really cool that this still exists, right? So it's a throwback to me, because I roller skated a lot when I was a kid and in high school and junior high. And so meeting people that are in industries that I thought were dead or didn't exist or didn't know about has really been a lot of fun. Um,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
in her roller skating rink, just sidebar question, does she do a lot of the roller derby stuff? Have you seen any of that roller derby stuff that's out there now?
She doesn't do the roller derby stuff, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for those of us who grew up roller skating, you can still roller skate competitively. Roller derby. Check it out.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know that I would do it, but I have several friends who do, and I'm like, hey, whatever, whatever makes you happy, do what makes you happy. Um,
That's funny.
so what's one of the biggest challenges some of the businesses that you've served have been facing in their business that you've helped them overcome?
Well, recently, there's been a huge mind shift. something that I'm sure you, along with me and all the other marketers, have been preaching for a few years now. You need to have a website where people can purchase things online. Even if you're a brick and mortar, even if you're service-based, you need to have a product or service that you can sell online and make it easy for people to get to you, make it easy for them to have a smooth transaction, get in, get their stuff, get out, move on to the next thing. So we've recently seen a lot of people who, the past couple of years where their response was typically something along the lines of, I'll get to that, but I'm not going to do that right now. And so we've seen a huge influx of people who need websites built. So, and they need online products and services made available. Well, it's great that they're coming around and they're realizing that this needs to be done. The best time to do it was 2 years ago. The second best time to do it is now. It's not too late. It's never too late to get started. So we're really seeing a lot of that happening right now. But one of the disconnects that I'm finding is still they don't really understand how to drive traffic to their website using their social media or their other marketing platforms to get the traffic to the website so people can take the next step and take that action. So I'm finding that to be still a disconnect for some people, but we're getting there. So it gives me hope that they've finally seen the light and they realize that this is important for them, but they are still a little confused on how to get the traffic there. But one step at a time, I tell them one step at a time. And okay, that's great. You've got your website built now, but we've got to use all of your outside marketing to drive traffic to it. So how do we go about that? And sometimes they get a little overwhelmed. Okay, that's not true. They get a lot overwhelmed. Okay.
And that's really easy to do as a business owner. I mean, you're a business owner. I'm a business owner. We wear many, many hats as business owners. And especially if you're in a business because you love what you do, you've designed a product, you offer a service because it's what you know and you love what you know. Not every industry requires continuing education. And if they do, they require continuing education in that specific industry. They're not requiring continuing education for business management, HR communications, digital marketing, or marketing in general. And so a lot of these small business owners maybe have less than one semester worth of marketing. So they really just don't know. They just don't know what they don't know. And that's okay. We just need them to be willing to acknowledge that they don't know what they don't know and ask for that help. Find somebody that they can trust to ask for that help.
Exactly. And I think I just want to touch on this real quick. I think you're involved with the Small Business Center at the local community college there, right?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm involved with the small business centers over here in the eastern part of North Carolina, central and eastern North Carolina as well. And they are a tremendous resource for small business owners, and all of their resources are free. They've got marketing classes that you can take for free. They've moved them from in-person to online webinars. So there's that information. So I really encourage small business owners. You can get free counseling. They've expanded the counseling offerings that they have right now. So you can get additional assistance right now for free. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask people, where can I get this information? You have to start from somewhere. We all did, and it's okay to not know. You just have to have a trusted resource, and I think your small business center is going to be one of those trusted resources for you. Your Chamber of Commerce is going to be a trusted resource for you as well. Even if you're not a member of your local chamber, you can still call them and they will point you to the resources that you need.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a member to get access to resources necessarily. So there's lots of ways that we can educate ourselves and help small business owners understand what next steps they need to take.
Right. It's the concept of we might all be in business by ourselves and for ourselves, but we're not in business alone. All of the small business owners in the small business community, at least where I am, really do pool together to support each other, encourage each other, and really be that mentor. They all have a lot of that mentor component to what they do when they're networking through the chamber, through even BNI, Business Networking International, is a great place to go meet new people and find some people who maybe have been in business longer than you that you can bounce an idea off of. right? As you were growing your business, what was one of the biggest challenges that you had to face to get it started 11 years ago? And how did you work to overcome that?
So, like I said, when I first started, I was working primarily as a volunteer. So I had to turn it from a free service that I was offering clients in the community into a paid service. So that was a bit of a shift. That was a big challenge. And I, like many small business owners, even though I had already been in business with other businesses for 20 years, I still had a problem with pricing and I didn't know how to price it. I didn't know how to go from free to market pricing. And so that was a big challenge for me. Finding clients was a challenge for me as well, because suddenly I'd gone from free to paid services.
And that's
So I
hard.
had,
If you have a book of business or a database of people who are used to getting a bunch of stuff for free, how do you make that transition into starting to ask for money? And are they really receptive to it?
right? So I had a lot of people that weren't receptive to it, but I had to realize they're not my people. And my friend told me, that gave me that phrase, they're not your people, Melanie, they're not your people. And she's right. They're not my people if they're not willing to pay for my services. And that's okay, because there's somebody out there that is willing to pay for my services. So I had to think a little bit bigger. I had to think beyond my local small community. I had to start networking and reaching out. I joined some groups that had like-minded professionals in it, so that I could bounce ideas off of them and get feedback from them, find out what kind of pricing modules they were using or pricing formulas they were using, and see what the market rate is. And understand that if I am charging a lower price than what the regular market is, if I'm charging way lower than the regular market is, I'm going to get probably not the highest quality client, because they're not necessarily going to value what I'm doing. And then if they don't value it, I'm going to lose interest in it as well. And it just ends up being not the best relationship in the end, and not the best results. So once I started valuing my services, my expertise, my experience, and I raised my prices, I got the right people. So I attracted the people that I was looking for. So who are you looking for? Go after them, have that mindset, because it's all mindset. It's all having the confidence to say, I can do this, and the right people will flock to me. They'll find me. And also having that network is really, really, really valuable as well.
Super
I don't know
important.
about you. I suspect you get a lot of word of mouth.
100% of my business right now is word of mouth. Yes.
Yeah.
The intention is to begin to shift that, but I think everybody starts primarily with word of mouth, and then they begin to shift into other advertising, because word of mouth is the cheapest form of marketing. So
And in my opinion, it's the best
it is
too.
the best. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because you get the quality clients that you want through that.
exactly.
So what is there some practice that you have to do every day to help you keep a positive mindset, help you keep the right energy and the right focus so that you can continue to attract the clients that you want to work with, that you love working with?
There are a few things that I do on a daily basis, or most days. Some days are busy and they get shoved to the side, but I have a business coach. I have a business mentor. I'm part of a mastermind. So those are three resources that I have in my back pocket that are always there for me. My business coach told me to write down my I am statements. And I refer to my I am statements daily. I read them out loud daily. And they also sit on the board across the room from my computer. So I can see them. Even if I can't read them, I know they're there. And it's my I am statements. So that's one of the things that I do on a regular basis. I also have a vision board, and that helps keep me centered and focused on what it is that I hope to achieve. So those are a couple of the things that I do to kind of help keep me focused on what I need to do. Of course, I do the regular things, like I have my to-do list and I have my time blocking, and I journal and those sorts of things as well. I read business books and listen to podcasts, like a lot of small business owners do, just to be motivated and to keep going. So those are some of the things I do. What about you?
Yeah. I do a lot of those things too. I'm more of a reader, or rather a YouTube. I do a lot of YouTube podcast watching, which is one reason why we record videos so we can put it on YouTube, because I like to see the emotive expressions in people. You can hear it in their voice when you're listening to it, but I find that if I'm just listening, I end up shifting my attention onto something else, and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
not actually hearing what they're saying. Whereas if it's in YouTube, I'm like, what are they going to say next? I need to know. and I'm solely focused on what they're talking about. So I like watching podcasts, not just listening to podcasts. And then spending time with the dog. So you mentioned in your bio that you love to go camping. I'm an outside girl too. So we've got the garden growing in the back, and I love spending time with the dog, going for walks and doing bike rides and kayaking and things like that. So we love to try and get outside as much as possible. That's why I live in North Carolina. But those
Yes.
things help me to stay clear and receptive to the higher power, to my inner self, and not just the noise and the chatter that exists out in the community and in the world, but to what's actually real, I think. And that's really where I derive a lot of my ideas and passion for the work that I do, is listening inside and not to all the noise. So try and unplug as often as I possibly can. But having mastermind groups, having a business coach, having a life coach, those things are very important to remind me that I am capable. And everybody listening to this is totally capable of everything that they want to do. We're totally capable of it. We just have to get out of our own way. And so that's been one of my biggest challenges as a small business owner, is getting out of my own way, acknowledging that I am in my way. And how do I get out of my own way? And so when I start to ask how, I know I need to go talk to one of my coaches and say, okay, I'm in my way. How do I get out of my own way? Shed some light for me, please.
Yes. I was in our mastermind call yesterday, and we were talking about triggers.
Mm.
And there were about 30 of us in there, and it was fascinating. Everybody was sharing their trigger. And at the end of the mastermind, we determined that we are all alike. Someone would say, "Oh, I have a trigger when I need to prepare a proposal that just makes me freeze and step back, and I feel paralyzed." And you could see 24 other heads in the room going, "Yes,
Oh,
yes."
wow.
So people have whatever triggers, whatever. We're all alike. We all have something in common, that whether it's getting in our own way or triggers that stop us and cause us to shut down, have that fear, that trepidation about moving forward, taking that next step, having the confidence to do it, having imposter syndrome. We all experience those things from time to time. And I'll be honest with you, I think the millionaires experience it too. They just have a better way of hiding it than we do, because they've surrounded by all of their support team, right?
Well, they just
So
have the higher end coaches that they call, and they can be like, hey, I'm dealing with this. And then the coach is going to walk them through it. That's why you pay a coach, right?
yes,
But yeah, you're right. And that I think is what helped me with my own imposter syndrome, was knowing that it's not a solo experience. This is an experience a lot of other professionals have. They might not call it that. They might call it self-doubt. They might call it whatever. Monkey chatter is what one of my friends called it. Um, it's just this noise, this white noise that exists in your head, that is that negative voice that can be holding you back. And so knowing that I'm not the only one that experiences that really helped me to realize that this is nothing. I don't need to listen to it. It's nothing. It's irrelevant. And that really helped me a lot. So that's a great point. And identifying what your triggers are can be very difficult. So what's one of the tips that you guys talked about in your mastermind, that to help people identify what their trigger is for like bringing that self-doubt about?
right. So we didn't talk a lot about answers. We mostly talked about triggers. So we're going to follow it up with how this is a three-part series. So yesterday was the first part, but one of the things that our leader said, and I thought this was fascinating, this is one of the things I took away from it, is if you're sitting in a spot every day and someone comes by and slaps you up beside the head every single day, same person, same time of day, they come along and slap you. Why are you allowing that? You identify, oh, if I sit here, I'm going to get slapped. I either need to move or I need to fight back. And I thought that was a really great analogy, that figure out what's going on. Okay, I do have the power to control this. I need to do one of two things: move or fight back. So that was a really great one. The other thing that we talked about was reading the book by Brene Brown, which is Daring Greatly, which I have not read.
I haven't read
So
it either, but I listened to a podcast with her and Lewis Howes, and she's amazing. I love Brene.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I have an idea, Terry. What if you and I have like a little personal challenge to read that book over the next month or something, and then maybe we could just like come back and talk about our takeaways from it. What do you think? Would you like to do that?
That would be awesome. We should totally do that. And I'm getting
Yeah.
ready to go away for the weekend. And I've got one book right now that I'm working on, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I'm excited to dive into that one this weekend. But I will get Brene's so that way I can start reading that too. So that way we can
Me
chat about
too.
it, because that would be
That would
great.
be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cool.
Sure. That'd be fun. I'm excited about that.
Me too. Everybody else listening, feel free to join us.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. And leave your thoughts or feelings about what you're reading in the comments below the video, or reach out to me or to Melanie so that we can talk more about that. Yay.
Yeah.
Fun.
Our little private book club.
That's right. Oh, that's so cool. And reading is something that a lot of the leaders, the world leaders, the most successful business owners talk about, is reading the success of others. And somebody said once, reading the success of others and reading their stories doesn't mean you have to read the whole book. You might get what you need out of the first couple of chapters. And that's okay. That's okay.
That's really interesting. I never really thought about it from that perspective, but I have to say, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. How many books have you like started to read and then you didn't finish it and you're like frustrated with yourself that you never finished it? And
A lot of them.
then you hear that and you're like, oh, I don't need to be frustrated anymore. I got what I needed.
Just need to
Oh,
look at it. You need to look at it from someone else's perspective and need to have a different viewpoint on it, because you're absolutely right. I look at those books that I haven't finished and I'm thinking, gosh, why did I not finish that book? But I remember certain passages out of them that were impactful to me and meaningful to me. So maybe that was what I needed to get out of that specific book.
exactly.
So yeah, that's a great way to approach it. Thanks, Terry.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was that I follow that said that. So somebody I listened to.
Somebody brilliant.
You mentioned some industry specific groups that you're part of. For small businesses that you work with, do you help them to identify industry specific groups, or do you recommend industry specific groups for them to join?
I do. A lot of the business owners that I work with already, they know who they need to be working with. But one of the things that I like to do with my clients, my private clients especially, is are you familiar? You probably are, with the Help a Reporter Out.
Yes.
Yes. So I like to go through that with some of my private clients and find opportunities for them to share their area of expertise within these particular opportunities to submit, right? So Help a Reporter Out is it's where writers have a need for content and they submit this through the product or through the system, and then we as contributors have the opportunity to pitch whatever it is that they're looking for, whether it's submission to an article or something like that. So outside of finding groups of networking groups and support groups, I also like to find opportunities for my clients as well, so they can get in front of a new set of eyes, because it's really important to have that support that you get from your industry and people that are like-minded, but also to get in front of a new set of eyes. And then you can include in your bio things like, I appeared in Funnel Magazine, right?
Exactly. Oh, so
So
that's how you got into Funnel Magazine. You used the Haro.
um, actually, I'm not sure how I got into Funnel Magazine, but I've been in there a couple of times, and so I don't remember. Once I got on their contributor list, they asked me to contribute a few more times after that. So I was super excited, Terry. I was in the issue that has Shailene Johnson on the cover, and my article was right after her article in the magazine. So I just felt like, oh,
Big deal now. You're a superstar. Everybody watch out.
Right. The title of my article was on the front of the magazine, right underneath the gorgeous Shailene Johnson's face, like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. So that was kind of a bonus, but
That's awesome.
you never know what's going to happen with an opportunity. You
Yeah.
never know. So why would you pass it up?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think the customer cycle or the customer journey is something that small business owners really forget about. They just want to make the sale now. But if you're trying to reach a customer and they're not in the buying place yet, how do we help the customer? How do we help our customer or the small business owner understand the customer journey more so that they can better build that relationship and bring the customer to that buying decision?
Right. So we have to keep in mind that people don't want to be sold to. People like to buy. People like to spend money and buy things, but they don't want to be sold to. So we have to reevaluate, first of all, the way we approach people with our messaging. And typically, you're not going to want to go from here's a free little tip to here, buy my $1,000 thing, right? So we have to keep that in mind as well. Some people are going to jump straight from the free tip that you put on Instagram to buying your $1,000 coaching course. Most people are probably not going to do that. So we have to nurture our audience and say, okay, and we can do this using different methods of marketing, whether it's Facebook ads or funnels or email marketing, whatever that looks like. But understanding where they are, understanding their pain points, understanding how we can serve them, is always going to be about them and not about us. We
Mm.
have the solution, but we have to let them know how the solution serves them, not you should buy the solution right now, but here's how what I have can help you. So it's usually a nurturing process. You usually go from, especially for service-based industries, you might go from a free tip with some videos that you're creating on YouTube or Facebook Live, and building that relationship and building that know, like, and trust factor that we talk about so much, and then pull them into your audience, get to know them a little bit better, start to send them more information, whatever that looks like. And then, eventually, if they're going to be your customer or they're not. And some people might take, 3 years. I've sent proposals out to people 2 years ago that came back that I thought it was a dead proposal. They weren't interested. They said, no, thank you. And then 2 years later, they show up in my inbox. Oh, gosh, okay. I didn't expect you to come back. I'm really happy that you're back. So being able to keep those doors of communication open with your audience as well, because we don't always know exactly where they are in their cycle, but when we know what our cycle looks like, it's going to help us know what that next step is to take. So I suspect that's probably the basic path that you follow with your clients as well, right?
It is. And I think the whole idea of funnels, the funnel system has been talked about a lot. Russell Brunson is brilliant for creating the word or the phrasing and the technology to go along with it. But the idea of the funnel has been around since the beginning of time, right? Like we've always been focused on relationships. We're a human being. Human beings want to have relationships with other human beings. And so the idea of what marketing really isn't new. I mean, it's been around for a long time. The technology that we use to do it is all that's really changed. Have you found that to be true as well?
Absolutely. And I also feel like we've shifted from broadcast marketing to targeted marketing, like we talked about in the beginning. So now we know who our target audience is. We can send a specific information to our target audience, and then they're going to tell their network and their network and their network. And then before you know it, you're reaching that broader audience. So I feel like the funnel has flipped just a little bit, but the concepts are still basically the same.
Yeah.
And the methods that we use to share that information has shifted with social and text marketing and all of that.
So speaking of that, do you have a favorite tool that you just love to use and that you recommend for most of your clients?
For which? For email marketing?
Any? Do you
Or
just have a favorite tool that you love to use?
I do. Here's the thing. there's a lot of different email service providers out there, and there's new ones coming out all the time. So it can be a little bit overwhelming for someone who's just getting started with email marketing, for example. Um, and I was talking to some girls the other day, and I kind of put it like this, you need to find the best tool for you. Just because you've heard the name MailChimp a gazillion times and it's free, that doesn't mean that it's the right one for you. You need to do your research. It's kind of like shoes. You might have a closet full of shoes, but if you're going to go be digging in the garden, you're probably not going to want to put on the stilettos. Is it rainy? You want to put on the rain boots. Is it dry? You want to put on the sneakers, right? Find the right tool for the right job. Just because they're all out there doesn't mean there's going to be one or two that are good for you as a business owner. If a business owner is just getting started with email marketing, for example, there are a couple of tools that I like to recommend that might be good for you. Again, do your research, but I don't like to use the new kids on the block because they're not a proven model and they haven't been proven through all of the IPs and all of the technology that goes on in the back end. MailerLite is one of my favorite free email service providers to use. Active Campaign is a really good one. It's low cost. It's great if you're going to be using a lot of funnels in your email marketing. And Constant Contact is not free. It's affordable as well. Really great for people that maybe aren't as tech savvy, and if you can use Microsoft Word, you can use Constant Contact because it's drag and drop, and they have really great customer service. So it really depends on what your needs are as a business owner, but those are the top email service providers that fit most business owners' needs. As far as building a website, I am a diehard fan of WordPress sites. I think it's about the best website that you can build, and they're pretty easy to maintain on the back end. And if you can't do it yourself, finding someone to manage it for you is really pretty affordable as well. Let's see, what else? I don't do a lot in SMS marketing, so I don't have a favorite one for that. What are your favorite tools, Terry?
I was just going to ask you, what about a CRM system? Because I know that one, and for those that are listening that don't know what CRM is, it's Client Relationship Management System. So is there a specific client relation management system that you love? And then I'll answer your question.
I don't have a specific favorite. HubSpot is pretty good. Salesforce is good, but it can be overwhelming for small business owners to get started with. So I probably would start with the HubSpot if I were going to recommend one, but I don't have a particular favorite. That's the one that I've used mostly.
Yeah, I've used the HubSpot CRM system as well. And the one thing that I do like about the HubSpot CRM system, first of all, the CRM itself is free, so you can put as many contacts in as you want. But then as your business grows, they have it built for you so you can scale. So you can add different components and features in. They're not the cheapest, but they are highly functional. And if you're a small business owner who's looking to kind of mitigate the number of pieces of tools or technology that you use, so you have one dashboard, HubSpot does allow for one dashboard because they have the website builder functionality, they have the ad campaign, they have the email campaign, and they have the CRM system. They have it all in one caboodle. So that's usually why I start my clients out on HubSpot as well. I personally actually just recently found my CRM system that I just love, and it is so robust. I actually haven't even begun to scratch the surface on everything that this system can do, but I can do SMS text marketing, I can do email marketing, and I can manage my client cycle, like my flow of where they are in terms of their project and process, all within the same CRM system.
And what's that one?
It's called Segwit. It's SEGWIK. And
Okay.
it's a really, really robust, it's a pretty powerful system. It is less expensive than HubSpot's paid situation, but it is
Okay.
not free. It is more expensive than free. So it's kind of in the nice middle spot, but it's
Yeah.
super duper robust. And he's working on adding in a calendar feature. He was sharing with me, I'm in direct communication with the owner developer of it, and he's looking at adding in, we're familiar with Calendly. I use Calendly on my website. There's all sorts of different calendar scheduling tools that are out there, but he's looking at adding in the calendar component so that you can set up multiple different types of appointments. They can connect it through the website. So then they can select, oh, it's a podcast that we're doing. And then they have the right amount of time already blocked off for that kind of thing. And you can program all of that inside of Segwit, which is amazing.
That sounds really cool. I would love to know more about that.
Yeah, well, I'll send you the link so you can take a
That'd be
look at
awesome.
it.
Thanks.
The email system that I got, like I use Segwit to send the emails, but I use BPro to design them.
Okay.
BPro is like $15 a month, so it's not free, but the templates are gorgeous. They just look so professional that I'm like, I'm not a graphic designer, but I can sure look like I have a graphic designer in my office designing these emails, because BPro and their templates are just gorgeous, and you can switch out graphics and whatnot along the way, but they just make it look really super professional. So when we're talking about an email tool, I'm like, $15 and you can
Yeah.
design the emails that you want. I think they have it set that you can send through them as well, although I've never used that feature inside of BPro, so I don't know what that looks like. I do recommend MailChimp. I try and find the things that are going to allow my clients. I want their tools to be as free or as low cost as possible, so that way we can turn around and take the budget and apply it to whatever the thing that we're doing is. If it's a buy one, get one free, or if it's a deal that they're offering, or if it's a gift, if they wanted to do a loyalty rewards program and they wanted to be able to gift something to their clients or their referral partners, I want them to be able to take the budget and use it on those things instead of using it on the technology, because it's a really easy to get bogged down in a whole bunch of technology, and then you don't have any budget left to run ads or to do those different things. So I try and look for the free or the extremely low cost stuff for all of my people. So that's what I do.
Yep.
As a
Yep.
forensic marketer, it's really important for me to find the things that aren't working as quickly as possible and pivot that budget into something else that's going to be more effective. So
Amen, sister.
the most important thing.
Yes.
Man, this is awesome. I don't know where we're at for time, but I do feel like we have been talking for a while and we've gotten a lot of really amazing information. Do you have anything else that you want to share that you think our listening audience needs to know about marketing or yourself, including maybe the way for them to get in contact with you?
I am so happy that I got to spend some time with you today. First of all, let me just say that. I am an email marketer. That's my passion, is email marketing. Maybe you picked up on that when I was talking about it a little while ago. So we offer a variety of services here at Melanie and Co. But my two areas of my passion areas are teaching at small business centers and training at small business centers and conferences and things like that, and email marketing. But I do have a couple of freebies, so I would be happy to share if somebody wants to, get the freebies. I would be happy to share that with them as well. So maybe I can just get the link and we can drop that in later. I can get that to you. And just some tips on how you can improve your email marketing, and 28 ways to grow your list, 12 email content ideas, that sort of thing. So I would love to share that with our listening audience today. But the one tip that I can give everybody is, don't overthink it when it comes to your social media marketing. Get out of your head. It's social. It's okay to have fun, be yourself. The most important thing, though, is consistency. You don't have to be on all the social media platforms. You need to be on the one where your primary audience is hanging out, and you need to be able to manage it consistently. And that's going to be more powerful than anything that you do. If you can only post once a week, post once every week. If you can post every day, post every day. Consistency is going to be what's going to help you in the long run. So that's my tip for today as far as social media marketing is concerned. And and you can find me on my website, melaniediehl.com. And I think, what else did you ask me?
What is there? So you had mentioned some freebie offers. Do you want to give the URL for those for our listening audience? Because they might not be able to see it at the bottom of the screen, but they'll be able to hear it.
Yeah, I don't know the URL off the top of my mind.
No worries then. I will, well, we've got Melanie, you said melaniedielandco.com, right?
melaniediehl.com.
melaniediehl.com. So if they go there, then they'll at least be able to connect with you. And if you
Absolutely.
are just listening through one of our audio only networks, tune into the YouTube version of this so that you can see the link, and we'll include the link in the about of this episode as well, so that they can click on it there. So that'll be
Awesome.
good. But any other ways for them to get in touch with you, or is the website the best way for them to reach out to you?
You can contact me through my website. Of course, from my website, I've got links to all my social media platforms. I'm active on LinkedIn. So search for me there. And I'm always looking to grow my LinkedIn network. So I love to meet new people and network there, especially since we don't do a lot of in-person networking anymore. Everything is, pretty much virtual and online now. And I'm also pretty active on my Facebook page. So you can find me there as well. My Facebook handle is Your Social Media Gal.
Your social
So
media gal. I love that. That's
yeah,
fun. Cool.
thank you.
Cool.
So thank you so much for inviting me to be on your podcast today, Terry. This has been a blast.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be here. It really has been a lot of fun, and you're super knowledgeable about email marketing. I might need to come pick your brain a little bit. I'm one of those master of none. I'm really skilled at a lot of things. I know a lot of things. I know enough about everything that I can easily manage different campaigns. I'm your project manager, if you want to call it that. I'm an amazing organizer, logistics queen, project management person. So I love being the campaign manager and then pulling in the different people for different components that I need that are amazing at that one piece, so
Yep.
that we can know that we're going to max out that budget. We're going to max out the return on investment because that person really knows what they're doing. And so when I bring them in, it's going to be amazing. And I love to be the person that just connects all the people. I'm a natural connector, so I like connecting all the people and putting them all in the same place. So I'm excited to know you. I'm glad we got connected. Thank you, Facebook.
Yes.
So don't often tout Facebook. I'm not a huge proponent of being on social media or sharing a whole lot of my life on social media, but I will say those groups, the Facebook groups, are highly effective. Just like LinkedIn groups, they're highly effective. So if you're a small business owner listening to this, get tuned into the groups, because that's where you're going to find some of your people and you'll be able to have some amazing conversations with them. So yay. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. I look forward to doing it again soon.
Yes. And book club.
Book club. That's right.